Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadhamagyam Tadatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udavatakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So we are in the second class or the second session of the first unit of Bhagavad Gita. So last class we started with the introduction and then just touched upon the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita. Right. So before I start with, we'll get into the main sloka content. So just can somebody start sharing what is that we learned in the last class? What is that we learned? Anybody? Quickly. What is that we learned as the last class?
5 elements like Jiva, Prakriti,
Okay.
Kala, Karma, and Ishvara.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry, somebody was in the door, so I had to attend it. Okay. So 5 principal elements, what are they? And then we had the 5 elements discussed.
Jivatma, Prakriti, Karma, Kala, Ishvara.
Jivatma, Prakriti,
Karma, Kala,
Ishvara,
Ishvara.
Kala and Karma. Okay. Okay. Then
So we learned how that we as Jivatma are in the Prakriti for a certain period of time, and we will do some karma so that we can reach
correct.
Ishvara.
So this entire Bhagavad Gita is encompassed with this all 5 principal elements revolving around each of them in different chapters, right? So when we talk about Ishvara, what and all the Ishvara portion is getting covered. When we talk about Jivatma, where and all the Jivatma portion is getting covered. So for that Jivatma to understand that Ishvara is the prime goal, and then within that particular period of time, perform certain actions to get into that goal of life. Okay, so that is the kind of an 5 all put together. Okay, fine. Okay, then we started with the first sloka, right? So when we touched upon first sloka, what is the main portion that we saw in the first sloka? What is the main thing that we saw in the first sloka?
Influence of the place.
Yes, the importance of that place. What is that importance of that place?
Dharmakshetra.
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra is the name of the place. But what is that main important point of the place?
Dharmakshetra.
Dharmakshetra. Okay. So Dharmakshetra, what does Dharmakshetra mean?
Where religious rituals are performed.
Yes, all rituals are performed. Okay. Then
Secret place.
secret place, not necessarily. Okay.
Because present there.
Vikarana.
Dhritarashtra was thinking that will influence the victory of Pandavas and may also change the mind of Pandavas. So
Yes.
they will withdraw from.
The place will influence the mind of the day, which means what? The most important underlining bottom line portion of that is the place has got the potency, the place has got that positive vibration, that place has got that only good things will happen. Only victory will be there for good people. Only best things will happen. No bad things will happen. No papam will happen. No ill effects will come. So that is the understanding of Dharmakshetra. So Dharma means following certain principles and rules and regulations. Dharma means religion. Dharma means you follow certain actions, you will get good results. That's the word dharma, right? You follow, that is the word. So in that place, when you perform a lot of austerity, a lot of tapasya, a lot of yajna, everything, whatever be it, only good things happen. So this is known to Dhritarashtra. So if in a good place, automatically only good people will win. In a good place, automatically good things will happen. So he knows that his son is not a good boy. He knows that his son is in a wrong place. He knows that his son is full of jealousy. He knows that his son has got a lot of ill feeling. He knows that the entire army, so the entire fight is there to do injustice to Pandavas. So he knows all those reasons. But in spite of all those, so that is why he is worried. So this place is where only good things will happen. So in a wrong place, how my son will win? Understood? So that is where the first word itself is so nice and so important in the throughout Bhagavad Gita. Why knowingly or unknowingly, when Dhritarashtra used this word, the victory is already sealed. The victory is already understood that it is for Pandavas, because Krishna is with them, because they stood by justice, because they are always good, because they didn't commit any mistakes. But the opposite side, it was all full of things. So this is known by Dhritarashtra, but still, because he was blind with his love and affection for his sons, because he was blind with ignorance, because he was blind by his power and position, still he wanted to see whether he was so desperate that what is happening, why the fight is not happening. He's not talking about whether they have won, what happened and all. He knows that something is going to happen, but still he wants to see why the war has not yet started. Somehow or the other, see, two ways to see it. Krishna wanted to have this war. Krishna wanted to have this war because he wanted to see all the bad people, or the asuras, or the demon people, or the bad kshatriyas gets killed. So it's an opportunity for him to do paritrana sadhunam vinashayada dushkritam. So he wants a situation where everybody are getting destroyed. So Krishna had an agenda. Similarly, Dhritarashtra's agenda is also to have the fight somehow, because every time some peace happening, somebody elders will say, okay, this and all, but ultimately his son is still a Yuvaraj, or still is not his son has not become a king. Still there are this Pandavas are there, so the authority is not fully got. So at one point of time, Dhritarashtra's mind was like, whatever happened, let the fight happen. My sons, they should win. So that was the mindset of Dhritarashtra. So last class also I told this Dhritarashtra's mindset is across all of us in certain situations when we are not able to, when our mind overcomes our intelligence, when we want to happen certain things in our own way, even though it is a fault, even though it is wrong, we still have that Dhritarashtra mentality in us, that no, Somehow or other I have to do, somehow or other I have to get it. Even though it is completely illogical or irreligious, whatever be it, our Dhritarashtra mindset will come into force because we are attracted to the, or we are now more of what do you say, in a more gratifying situation where it is more of pride, more jealous, more self-oriented. Okay? So that is why when I said last class, this Dhritarashtra, this Sanjaya, Arjuna, and Krishna, these are some of the main characters, and we have Duryodhana and a few others also. But these four main characters in Bhagavad Gita gives us a lot of lesson by which we can see where we are when we try to do certain actions, where we are when we try to think about certain decisions, right? So that is where we need to see. The entire Bhagavad Gita of 700 slokas, Dhritarashtra speaks only once, but that within one sloka, we can understand so many other aspects to it. Okay. So these are some of the points we need to understand. So that is why I just took little more time for the first sloka. But let's quickly see what Prabhupada also said. I think we have read through the purport, right? We have read through the purport. Yeah, I think both from the purport perspective, I think mostly we have understood what is that. So you all know the background of Mahabharata. So I don't see need to make you understand on Mahabharata. So Prabhupada also mentions in this the Krishna when was present, the unwanted plans like Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhana and others would be wiped out and thoroughly religious principles by Yudhishthira would be established. Okay, so that is why it is called as Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. Apart from Vedic and historical importance. Right. Let's get into the next few slokas. So how do we typically do this? If you are able to write or if you're able to read through the Sanskrit sloka, it is absolutely fine. Otherwise, just call out and then read the synonyms, not the synonyms, sorry, the translation and the purport, and then we just keep going. Okay, sloka number 2. Somebody want to try the Sanskrit, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I try?
Hare Krishna. You able to hear me?
So, should I try, Prabhuji? Should I try reading, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I-
Can do, Mataji.
Okay. Sanjuvacha drishtava tu pandavanekam vyuda duryodhanastada acharyamu pasanga sangadmaya raja vachanam brahmitaha. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya said, Drishtava after seeing two but Pandava Anikam, the soldiers of the Pandavas, Vyudham arranged in a military phalanx, Duryodhana, King Duryodhana, Tada at that time, Acharyam, the teacher, Upasangyamya approaching, Raja the king, Vachanam, words, Avravit spoke. Translation. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Should I continue, Prabhuji? Paput?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, you can finish the.
Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. Sanjaya wanted, therefore, to encourage the despondent king and thus assured him that his sons were not going to take any sort of compromise under the influence of the holy place. Sanjaya therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhana, after seeing the military force of the Pandavas, at once went to the commander-in-chief, Dronacharya, to inform him of the real position. Although Duryodhana is mentioned as the king, he still had to go to the commander and on account of the seriousness of the situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician. But Duryodhana's diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So, so this sloka is where Sanjaya starts speaking. So, as mentioned earlier, Sanjaya got his vision through his acharya, his guru, through Vyasadeva. So this sloka is also very diplomatically conveying many messages to Dhritarashtra. At the same time, putting words in a way where giving a very positive, giving a very confident, giving him a very good message to Dhritarashtra. But underlining is what we need to understand. Okay, so this is what we can understand. So what is that? So the situation is where both the sides, the army is ready, and they are about to fight. And then when they are about to fight, Duryodhana goes to his acharya, goes to Dronacharya, and he's about to talk. Okay, so that is what the situation is. This is getting explained by Sanjaya. So how does he explain? He's saying, Drishtva tu Pandavanikam, Vyudam Duryodhanastata. Vyudam means seeing the particular place. Duryodhana. So, okay, Duryodhana, Tada, Acharyam Upasangamya. So he goes to the Acharya, Upasangamya, goes there. Raja Vachanam Abhivi. So this Raja, the word Raja can be taken up in two ways of understanding. Raja means, oh, Dhritarashtra, like, Sanjaya is addressing Raja. But here, just to make happy, just to make Dhritarashtra a little happy, he's already making Duryodhana as Raja. Okay, actually, originally, officially, Duryodhana is still not the Raja or the king, but just to make him happy that yeah, he is the king, like give him that particular role or that respect, so that at least Dhritarashtra will be a little happy. That is first point. Second point is, even though he's kind of put in a commander situation, everything, he's like he wanted to make sure that whatever Duryodhana is going to convey is going to actually create more problem or create more kind of a situation where his fear is coming out. So sometimes during a war situation, when the commander goes and gives certain orders, obviously the order will follow certain actions, but internally it will also reveal the mindset of the particular the commander-in-chief or the particular leader. Okay, so that is what we can understand. Everybody in Bhagavad Gita, everybody is considered as one kind of a leader in their own way. But however, what are the styles or what are the qualities of that particular leader is coming out. Duryodhana is also one kind of a leader, but leader with lot of command, leader with lot of expectation, leader with lot of jealousy, leader with sort of personal gain. So in that way, we can understand the importance of each of the characters in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now this is the situation. So somebody will ask, when there is a war, it is about to start immediately, right? But in Vedic situation, Vedic style, the wars will not start until both the sides has to agree in a particular situation, a particular rule. Okay, what is that rule? In a typical football match or a cricket match, the umpire or the referee will be there, and then both of them will stand. The captains will stand, and once the whistle is blown by the referee, then everybody will start. Similarly, in the Mahabharata time, the war, both the sides will be lined up according to whomsoever want to fight, and the commander-in-chief in this side, the commander-in-chief that side, will initiate, or one of the seniors in that particular side, whom will be the leading that particular day, will have to blow their conch. Okay, that is the most important thing. So somebody will ask, why the war? It should start automatically, right? No, it is not required. So they follow very specific rules and regulations. And what is the rules and regulations? Both the sides, they have to blow their conch, and after finishing their conch, they can start fighting. And what is the beauty? Exactly after the sunset, when the sun goes down, immediately, whatever be the situation, they will never continue to fight. So both of them will, for example, the enemy and then this person will be fighting so vigorously. But the moment sun sets, they'll just stop, they'll just go back. In fact, in Mahabharata, both the sides had a lot of friends with each other, right? So after the war, that particular day's war is over, Both the sides will go sit and have drink, have eat food, and they'll just chat everything. But the next day morning, they'll all line up again to fight against each other. Okay, so that is what this kind of a war situation. Okay, but comparatively nowadays, how the war happens, we all know. In Ramayana, how the war is compared. Ramayana, the war is not for humans. War was between whom and whom? In Ramayana, war was mainly for between whom?
Rama and Ravana.
Rama and Ravana. Okay. I told you, I gave you a clue. The war is not between humans. In this context, I'm asking.
It's
The
with
war is not
Asuras.
between, huh?
The war is that of Bhagwan with Asuras.
One side, correct. Okay. Okay. Correct. Okay.
War was in between the human and the asuras.
Now the war was between Asuras and Vanaras. Okay. Majority of Krishna, of Rama's army, who are they?
Vanaras.
All the Vanaras, all the monkey, the entire monkey battalion was there. This side all Asuras. So there is nothing called for a monkey or for an Asura, there is nothing called rules and regulation. Hey, you wait here, okay, start. No, nothing. So monkeys had their own ammunition. Monkeys had their own big rocks, big trees, and so many kind of things. Asuras, they also didn't have big kind of very sophisticated this bow and arrow and all. So they had their own weapons, right? Unlike Mahabharata war, they followed a certain reason. Ramayana happened day and night also. Sometimes they will have, so every time during night time alone, they just took some rest. They went by batches. But morning time, if you see, it was all kind of their own way of fighting. Okay, so that is where you differentiate between the two big wars that we have to understand is the Ramayana war and the Mahabharata war. Okay, so that is where we stand. So I'm just setting you the context in which we try to understand how this procedure. So why war didn't start in Mahabharata? Because they were still waiting for this side this side Bhishma, and this side Arjuna or Yudhishthira has to start or actually Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna is the commander in chief for Pandavas. This side Bhishma was there. Okay, so Bhishma and Drishtadyumna, they have to start blowing their conch, and then all others should also have to start blowing their conch, and then it will be they have to start the war. Okay, so that is where the situation is. Okay, clear? And also don't think about it is kind of a one stretch where you can see everybody. It was running miles and miles away. Okay, so for example, it is more or less considered like the entire Singapore location. So the one day when Maharaj was mentioning about what is the length and breadth of Kurukshetra, it is so large. So somewhere here in one corner, Bhishma will be standing. In other corner, about 3-4 miles away, another person, commander will be. So it's a very large, what do you say, positioned war. Okay, so very long. So we cannot even imagine how it is getting positioned. Okay, so that is why it requires blowing the conch. Why? Conch will indicate that the sound goes at least for 1 kilometer or half a kilometer, indicating that war has started. So let's start fighting. Okay, clear? Okay, let's get into third sloka. Anybody?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Please.
Pasyayitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahitam Chamum Yudam Drupada Putrena Tava Sisyayena Himatam. Synonym. Pasya, behold, Itam Idis Pandu Putranam of the sons of Pandu, Acharya, O teacher, Mahitam, great, Chamum, military force, Yudam, arrange, Drupada Putrena, by the sons of Drupada, Tava, your, Sisyena, disciple, Dimata, very intelligent. Translation. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by intelligent disciples, the son of Drupada. Purport. Duryodhana, the great diplomat, wanted to point out to the defects of Dronacharya, the great Brahmana commander-in-chief. Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjuna's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupada performed a great sacrifice by which he received a benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahmana, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupada, Dhristadyumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dhristadyumna took the side of Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military balance after having learned the art from Dronacharya. Duryodhana pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjuna especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhana also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So you know, I mean, most of you know the background story of Dronacharya and Drupada and Drishtadyumna, right? So does anybody doesn't know this story, or everybody knows? Who doesn't know? Yes, no? Everybody knows?
Prabhuji, can you tell us again?
Okay. Can somebody want to try the story? I can. Who knows the story?
Yeah, I can try.
Yes, Sudhir.
The story was that both of these guys were friends, Drishtadyumna's father and Dronacharya. And at some point, I think Drishtadyumna's father had committed that he would give half his kingdom to his friend Dronacharya. But after becoming the king, he decided not to give him the kingdom. And in fact, Dronacharya, when he came to ask for help, he decided not to meet Dronacharya. So that is when Dronacharya got very offended, and he had asked his disciples, Arjuna and the Pandavas and the Kauravas, after the lesson was complete, after they had attained the education, that he had asked them to give Guru Dakshina. And in Guru Dakshina, he had asked them to go and capture the father of Drishtadyumna. What was his name? Sorry, Prabhuji.
Drupada, it is there in the purport.
Drupada, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
So it was King Drupada. So he had asked them to capture King Drupada. Kauravas went, but they could not capture King Drupada. But Pandavas, when they went, they were able to capture King Drupada and bring him back to Dronacharya. And at that time, Dronacharya took half the kingdom, and then he insulted Drupada. But Drupada, at that time, after that, he went back to his kingdom, and then he decided to pray to Brahma, and then he got a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya, which is what Drishtadyumna, he got Drishtadyumna through the prayers, and that's the story.
Okay. Okay, half. Okay, fine. Yeah, mostly correct, Prabhu. So I'll just complete. So both Dronacharya and Drupada were small children when they from their Gurukul, they were friends. And as you mentioned, Drupada is from a Kshatriya family, and then Dronacharya from a Brahmana family. Both were friends in the Gurukul. And being friends, they had Drupada made a commitment that if you need anything, I'll do something. And then he told, I'll give you half of the kingdom. Like so, partially the story is correct. What happens is like when during when the Pandavas and when Kauravas were small children itself, the fight will happen and Drupada will be defeated. So what will happen is he will not take the kingdom. He will just say, all I want is just to make you teach you a lesson. So you just go back. So that makes this Drupada more kind of an insult. So Kshatriya getting back the kingdom without anything is more of an insult. So that is why Drupada goes back. He makes this big penance, and Drupada and Draupadi, actually twins. Drupada and Draupadi are twins. So both of them are born. And what will happen is, Drupada being very intelligent, he will send his own son, Drishtadyumna. This is the last part of the story. He will send the Drishtadyumna to study under Dronacharya. Okay. So Drupada's mind was somehow or other, Drishtadumna should get the archery skill, whatever be the skill, from Dronacharya. But for what purpose? To kill Dronacharya himself. That was the motive of Drupada. Okay. So this is known to everybody, but still Dronacharya accepted Drupada's son, Drishtadumna. Okay, that is why Prabhupada mentions a Brahmana is a liberal person, where even though an enemy's son comes to get the learning or get to learn the art of skill of this archery, still he accepts it. So that is why Dronacharya, Prabhupada is kind of little glorifying Dronacharya, because a Brahmana is a Brahmana by nature, by birth. So even though that enemy's son has come to learn the skill, for what purpose? To kill himself, he still accepted him as his disciple and taught him. Okay? That is where this point is being brought out by Duryodhana. See, this entire Pandava side is all set by the Vyudam. The Vyudam means the setting of the particular army. Okay, this one is set by your own enemy's son, who is there to kill you, who was born to kill you, who learned from you. Okay, so if you just imagine how you will feel that 100% it is going to happen, right? But still, Duryodhana makes a point to Dronacharya, don't, I know you are a very liberal Brahmana, I know you are a very this one, but still you are supposed to do whatever justice for the Kuru dynasty, which means you are supposed to fight for me. You cannot do anything else. That is the first implied understanding. The second implied understanding is, Pandavas. So Pandavas were very favorite and close for Dronacharya, because Arjuna was his favorite student, and all the Pandavas learned mostly very nicely from Dronacharya. And of course, Dronacharya had a soft corner for the Pandavas. So that also Duryodhana knows. So that is why he wanted to make sure, don't try to have any kind of soft corner, or don't try to have anything for your favorite students. You are here to fight for me. You are supposed to fight for me. Clear? So this is the way Duryodhana's diplomatic way of putting it to Dronacharya. Okay. Pashaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahitim Chamam Vyudam Drupada Putrena. So Tava Sishyana. So the word Tava Sishyana is also very important. You can simply say they are there, right? They are all your dhimata. So your own intelligent disciple is there, but still you are supposed to do as per the dharma of the war. Okay, so that is where he wanted to bring that underlining diplomatic message. Okay, so that is why, in one way, Duryodhana's character is so kind of diplomatic way. Like if you want to achieve certain things, he will put it in a very harsh way, as well as make that particular person insulted, right? And then make sure that particular person has no other choice but has to fight. So even in our office situation or corporate location, somebody will try to make us insult, but we cannot do anything. We are just hopeless. We cannot go against them. We are bounded, or we are binded by that particular situation. We have to act for that particular person, right? So that is what the situation of Bhishma and Dronacharya. Okay, why? Because Dronacharya and Bhishma, specifically Dronacharya, he was like namak. They'll say he was having taken care with his food, clothing, everything by the Kuru dynasty. So that is why he is bound by that particular dharma of fighting for the Kuru dynasty. Okay. So every word in certain slokas, every word is very nice. So the coining of the word is also very important. Okay. So Pashyetam Pandaputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamam. Okay. Mahatim Chamam is very great. Okay. Vyudam Drupada Putrena Tava Sishyana. So Vyudam Drupada Putrena. You see who has done it? Drupada Putrena. Who is that Drupada Putrena? Tava Sishyana Dhimata. Okay. So if you start, so when you start learning the slokas, you see in a more of a dialogue way of putting the words. Okay. Vyudam Drupada Putrena. See who has put this Vyudam, this particular arrangement? Drupada Putrena. Who is he? Tava Sishyana Dhimata. Your own disciple. And who is he? Dhimata. So he is not an ordinary disciple. He is a very intelligent disciple. So the same disciple is there to kill you. The same person was born out of the yajna only for the purpose of killing you. And he is very intelligent also. So these are some of the nice points Duryodhana very sarcastically giving it to Dronacharya. Clear? So here no talk about Arjuna, nothing. It is only just directly pointing to Dronacharya. Okay, let's go. Okay. Yeah, we can read only the sloka and the translation purport. Yeah. Next, quickly somebody. Or you can read through the translation purport also.
Atra shura maheshvasa Bhimarjuna samayudhi Yuyudhano viratascha Drupadascha maharataha. Here is in this army there are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata and Drupada. Should I read purport, Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
Even though Drishtadyumna was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many other cause of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna and thus he compared the others with them.
Yeah, so he's talking about Maha. So in the entire army structure, they call as Rati, Atirati, Maharati. Like that, there are some commanding positions. Like we for example, in army or in navy or in air force, they call us lieutenant, chief lieutenant, lieutenant colonel, captain. Like there are multiple levels, right? So in that way, even in those days, the army generals or the commanders or their categories by which how many rathas or how many people, how many soldiers they can manage. Okay, Rati means a person who can manage some 5 to 10. Atirati means some 100. Maharati means he himself, one person can manage at least 1,000 to 1,500 people. Like that, there is some kind of calculation, but let's not get into the calculation part. But more importantly, the suras, ratis, atiratis, maharatis, like that, there are some categories. So that is why he's here specifically mentioning Atra Sura Maheshasa, Bhima Arjuna. So like similar to Bhima and Arjuna, there are other wonderful or great warriors like Yudhana. Yudhana is very close friend of Krishna. Okay, so who's Yudhana? That later in the later sections we can talk. Virata, Drupada, and there are so many other great fighters also. Okay, let's continue.
Drishtaketu. Okay, go ahead, Prabhuji.
दृष्टकेतु चैकितान काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान् पुरुजै कुन्तिभोजश्च शैबश्च नरपुङ्गव. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chaikitana, Kashiraja, Purujita, Kuntibhoja and Shaibya.
Okay, so he is mentioning about few other fighters also. So when this Mahabharata war was getting arranged or getting this one, so what is the most important thing? It is not about one particular section. The entire Bharata Varsha, the entire Bharata Bhumi, whomsoever wants to take sides either between Kauravas or between the Pandavas, they have to take. So each of them mentioned here is all individual kings. Okay, it is not about a particular soldier or a particular commander. So that king has got his own kingdom, his own army, and the entire thing will come. Okay, so each of them mentioning his Kasi Raja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja. So everybody will have their own set of army, and the king also will come. So it's not an ordinary war. Okay, it's like a very big war, which we cannot even imagine how it is getting this one. So not one particular set of kings, it will multiple kings, multiple army groups together, all combined under playing on one particular set. Okay, for example, now if you compare between World War I and World War II, so for example, World War II, they call us NATO, okay, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which means the one set of all countries aligned towards USA, all countries aligned towards USSR, all countries aligned towards Germany. Like that, there are some countries will align everything together, and all the armies will play or fight against each other. Right. So that is where we need to understand the volume and the enormity of it. So let's continue.
युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्त उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्व एव महारथाः. There are mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
So all are great chariots, specifically mentioning son of Subhadra and sons of Draupadi. So the sons of Draupadi is the Upa Pandavas. So Duryodhana wants to make sure that even you cannot underestimate the sons of Pandavas. Pandavas themselves are very super warriors, and obviously their sons also will be first class warriors, right? So that is what you want to. Yudhamanyu is also very Uttama. All whatever mentioning here is very Maharatha. Okay? So that is it. So we can understand Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra, is mentioned here also.
Sorry, Prabhu, here just wanted to ask you that
Yes.
they mentioned that powerful Uttamauja. Is it the one son or it is the sons of Draupadi?
No, Draupadeya in Sanskrit, how do you understand this? Subhadro. Dro means one. Subhadraha. Draupadeyaha. Okay, so Draupadeyascha. So when we say Draupadeyascha means sons.
Oh.
Everybody together.
Oh, okay. अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाये तानि बोध विद्विजोत्तमा नायका मम सैन्यस्य संज्ञार्थं तां ब्रवीमि ते. Translation: But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force.
Okay, so now he has finished one side of the Pandava side, but he wants to make sure don't underestimate our side also. So one side he has already told about Pandava's side, but he wants to make sure, he wants to make a point that you don't understand and underestimate our side also. So he's going to make a list of the Rajas, or make a list of all the kings who are lined up towards the Kuru side. But the word here is very, very nice. Asmakam. Asmakam means our. But which means what? See, I've told you about them, but when they say but, which means what? However, I have more powerful, I have more skillful, great warriors from my side. Okay? So the word tu also in Sanskrit, tu is used in various different terminologies. But parantu, they will say parantu. Parantu means however, right? So like that, tu means but. So he's making it a point, like, however, so he made one statement. See, this side, these are there. However, when you say however, it means what? So what? I have my side also, who are much more skillful. Okay, so even a small word we can understand very nicely. Okay. So asmakam tu vishishta tan nibodha me, tan nibodha dvijottama, dvija uttama. Okay, dvija means twice born. So Brahmanas are called as twice born. After their birth, when they get upavidam, when they have that sacred thread ceremony, they have the second birth. Okay, so that is why they call as dvija, and then dvija uttama. Uttama means best. Okay, mamaka nayaka mama sainyascha. So here also very nice. So he is not saying nayaka kuru from our side or from our side. He said nayaka mama sainyascha. You can see his selfish nature. Okay, so nayaka means all the great heroes or warriors who are there for me, who have assembled for my own sake. Okay, so sainyascha samyartam tad bhavimi me. So that is again he's making for your information. He's like, no, hey, you need to understand. So he's addressing the guru like this. Hey, you should understand who are all there like this. Okay, so if you can see in that way, he started in a very diplomatic way. Now he's changing his tone in a way where he's commanding his own acharya. See, I have told you about this, but however, you should understand who are all there. You should understand for me, they are all lined up here. Okay, so which means he wants to make sure that acharya doesn't get into any kind of a compromise. Okay, so that is why I told you when you read through the sloka, when the translation, it might be a normal. Okay, what is that? But for information, oh best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military. It's a very simple line. But if you go through the inner meaning of the Sanskrit way of seeing that way, then you can get a lot of more understanding about that particular character, understanding about what is the background of that particular sloka. Clear? Okay, let's keep. So if you don't have any questions, we'll just keep going. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free, because we are reading through this. We are also understanding through this particular sections. Okay, so there is nothing called, okay, let us come back and understand. No. So make sure you read through. If it is required, take notes, and then let's keep going with the understanding also. Okay.
भवन् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च कृपश्च समितिं जय अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च. Translation: There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Purport: Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya, and Saumadatti, or Bhurishrava, is the son of the king of the Bahlikas. Karna is the half-brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya.
Okay, so he's making a list of all the others: Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, son of Somadatta, and called Bhurishwara. So whom these are all his side of great warriors.
Prabhuji, who was Somdatta?
See, again, Somadatta is again one kind of a king. That's all. There's no specific historical reference to who's that particular person. But from Mahabharata, there are so many list of kings mentioned. But he's, I think, he's one of the kings in some location. That's all. There's no specific reference to that. Maybe I'll just find it out if in some other book it is available. But in Mahabharata and this one, not any particular reference is available. Yeah. Sloka 9.
अन्ये च बहवः सूरा मदर्थे त्यक्त्वा जीविताः नानाशस्त्रापहाराणाः सर्वे युद्धविशारदाः. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Purport: As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma, and Salya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above-mentioned combined strength of his friends.
Okay, nice. So this is again one set of members. Anyecha bhava suraha madarte tyakta jivataha. Tyakta jivataha means giving up. Okay, the word tyakta in Sanskrit is coming across throughout Bhagavad Gita in many slokas. Okay, so I'm just making it out point. Tyakta means giving it up or prepared to lay off, whatever be situation. So tyakta jivitaha. Jivita means giving up the life. Okay, nana shastra praharanaiva sarva yuddha visharva. So they're all Nana Shastra. Nana Shastra means all kind of military equipments, weapons. They're all very exposed, and then they are even. So in this also is very nice. They are in sloka similar to the previous sloka. Mama Sainyascha. So they are there for me, and they are for me to die also. Okay, so that is the confidence level of Duryodhana. Okay, but after a few slokas, we will see how his confidence gets little shattered or little kind of worried.
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्म भिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं तव इदम् एतसं बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength was carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Purport: Herein, an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of Pandavas are limited, being protected by less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained.
Okay, so this sloka is also very important, in which we can understand how a particular person compares between two entities. See, you cannot compare between, we always say, no, don't compare between apple and oranges, which means you will never be able to get a proper comparative study or a proper judgment. One side is Bhishma. Okay, Bhishma is like, you cannot, it is aparyatam. You cannot measure his valor. Bhishma has done so many wars. He has undergone so many military exercises. He has won individually. He has won so many battles. So he's a big Kshatriya. Okay, but you cannot even compare Bhishma with Bhima. So that itself is wrong, right? So underlining principle is he's trying to compare Bhishma with Bhima. With the bottom line itself is wrong. However, because he cannot compare anything else, he cannot do anything else. He is just trying to bring out that particular portion that, oh, our side is having Bhishma, the other side is only Bhima. So he is trying to make that particular line. So paryaptam idam jesam bhalam bhima abhirakshitam. Bhima abhirakshitam. Rakshitam means getting protected. So he knows that very well. Nobody can fight with him. For his own skill also, only Bhima can fight with him, and then Bhima. So that also he knows. So he wants to see that this comparison itself is not required. But at the same time, he wanted to make sure that these two prominent names are being brought out to ensure that this side is Bhishma with his entire skill and experience of so many years. The other side is only Bhima. Sorry. So that is what he wanted to make a kind of a comparison. So that is why Prabhupada is also making, like, Bhima is like a fig in front of Bhishma. Okay? But however, the enemy of Duryodhana overcomes that, and then he's trying to compare that between Bhishma and Bhima, which itself is irrelevant. Okay? So again, this character is seeing that when you want to compare somebody, the comparison means it should have some kind of an equal level in which you try to find judgments, which is good, which is bad, which is nice, so you cannot compare between one top and one the lowest, which means you don't know how to compare also. But still you want to do it because you are very envious of that particular person. Right? So that is where sometimes our characteristics or our own way of parenting also, we try to compare our children with somebody else, which is not at all required, or which might lead to some other way. So in a parenting way, I've seen many parents, when they try to compare their children with other children or some other way, they may not be in a situation where it need not be compared at all, or there might be a situation where comparison is like totally irrelevant. But still, just for the sake of comparison, just for the sake of this, they do, and then it makes the other person in a way demotivated, demoralized, etc. So that is why in the corporate classes, whenever we try to say, when you want a comparison, don't take Duryodhana approach. Duryodhana approach is more envious. Duryodhana approach is more of irrelevant comparison. So you need to have a very judgmental comparison when you try to do certain comparative studies. Okay.
Prabhu, can I ask, then why did he compare with Bhima? Is it that because he has some hatred for Bhima that he always want to use him, Sorry.
Correct. He was very hatred, very envious. He cannot compare Bhishma with anybody else because he had a little soft corner, or he had a little respect for Yudhishthira, because Yudhishthira was a very nice person. He didn't want to do with Arjuna because Arjuna is a small boy for him. He didn't even worry about this Nakula and Sahadev because they were very small for him, Chota. So for him, if at all he want to do anything, he can do only with Bhima. Okay. So now within this 5-10 slokas, you should know what is the character of Duryodhana, right? So the way he speaks, the way he wants to put his message, the way he wants to convey his authority over his own acharya, right? So the situation is like that, right? So we can see that that is getting unfolded. And his state of mind also. Okay, his state of mind is like, now it looks very confident. Yes, right? Let's see. Yeah.
अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागम् अवस्थिताः भीष्मं एवाभिरक्षितन्तु भगवन्तः सर्व एव हि. All of you might now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. But Duryodhana, after praising the powerness of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his useful diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic position and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Deva. He was confident of the full support of Bhismadeva and Dronacharya in the battlefield because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice, while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performances.
Okay. So now he is addressing now that discussion or that dialogue towards Dronacharya is complete. Now he is looking towards his army, his entire set of the people who have generally lined up. So he has started giving a particular command. Okay, what is that command? Now all of you should go and protect, give kind of support to Bhishma, like grandfather Bhishma, and then you stand in your respective positions and give. So this is where he's giving kind of an instruction, like before the start of the war, because Bhishma is the main person who will ensure all the strategic points and like whom has to fight, where it has to go, all those things they will try to decide. Right. So for example, if you're in a football match, if you know a little bit more about football match, what they will do is you will have somebody called as defend, somebody called front, somebody called goalkeeper, like that, right? So what they will try to do is they will try to match one-on-one with another person. Like for example, you have team A and team B. Whomsoever is called forward, whomsoever goes and puts the goal, they're called as forward. For each and every forward, there will be an opposite defender in the opposite team. So they will say, for example, I am a defender. For example, now Ramananda Prabhu is a forward. So they will try to see, you have to focus only on Ramananda Prabhu. They'll say, oh, you are then they'll say, you have to just focus only on Sudhir Prabhu. So like that, they will try to have that one-on-one forward versus a defend. Okay. So that the focus will be ensuring that they fight each other, and then whatever happens is between them, that particular group. Clear? So that is what is called a strategic way of fighting. That is how in the entire Mahabharata you will see one person will try to target the other person in the chariot, and they both will start fighting. So whomsoever is getting killed, then they'll go to another person. Like that only they will do the fighting. It's not that anybody will fight with everybody. Okay. So that is the understanding of the setting of the strategic point. And that also we'll see they are equal. Like, I'm a Kshatriya, I have 20 years of experience, I have done 15 years of war. So like that and all, accordingly, I will have to see my equal opponent to fight. It's not that I'll go and finish up all the juniors and say, oh yes, I have killed 15 people. No, that is not a Kshatriya mentality. Right? So they followed the Kshatriya mentality. Like, I am a particular king with so much of valor, so much of skill. Equally, I will see who is there, then I will go and fight. Okay? And they will have their own enmity. The previous enmity also will be there. Accordingly, they will go and fight with that particular person only. So that is why this situation where Duryodhana is giving that particular instruction to all his men that we need to protect the Bhishma and then also support him so that whatever Bhishma Dev gives instructions, we just follow his instructions. Okay. And he is also making sure that Dronacharya and Bhishma are very loyal, because Prabhupada is giving that particular episode, right? You remember Draupadi Vastravan, right? When Draupadi's sari was getting this one, this throat, everybody was silent, this group. right? And in our acharyas mentioned, why Dronacharya and Kripacharya and Bhishma are getting punished and killed is only for this reason. Even though he's a great warrior, even though he's a great this one, still he was silent during a situation. So during a particular time when you are supposed to talk, you are supposed to talk. When you are supposed to take certain action, you are supposed to take an action. That is called as dharma. That is called as aligned with the dharma. It is not that, oh, I'm always like this. Let me be very loyal. Loyalty is different. Following dharma is different. Whenever there is a dharma comes in, loyalty takes a next step, right? So that is where a lot of arguments, a lot of debates will go between why Dronacharya and Bhishma were silent and why are they getting punished. It is all because of this reason. Krishna wanted to give that particular lesson to the entire world that you were very loyal, but you didn't follow the dharma. You are, yes, following loyalty, following the eating the salt, whatever they say, right? It is all perfect. But when the dharma portion comes, when something is going against your religion, you are supposed to stand up. But you failed in that, so that is why you are getting punished. Okay.
They forgot their dharma primarily because they were bewildered by Maya.
Yeah, not necessarily bewildered Maya. They were overcome by their loyalty. Sometimes you become too much loyal that you forget what is actual dharma also. Like nowadays in movies also, no, if you have a good villain, the hero will be, now latest movies you see, the hero will be villain's right hand or left hand. Okay, he will become so loyal because in his childhood something would have happened, he would have helped or something. He will never even worry about what is dharma or adharma. He will just follow whatever the villain says, right? The same situation happened to this. Loyalty overcomes dharma.
Thank you, Brahma.
So let's not get into too much of Maya philosophy, okay? So that will get into a different understanding. But it is all just because of this particular concept.
Prabhu, the loyalty, I mean, it began very long until he died. So that's why I thought maybe it's another thing like Maya coming, like he mentioned. So
yes.
Is it like that?
Partially,
he was loyal for the longest time, So, yeah.
Correct.
The reason why I asked is because they very well knew, both of them, Dronacharya as well as Bhishma, they very well knew what dharma was.
Correct.
So at that point, if they did not object, so they forgot their dharma, and they preferred loyalty over dharma.
That is also partially true. Another way of seeing it is they are still wonderful devotees of the Lord, and Lord wanted to play that role for them, so they played that role. That also, in one perspective, we can say. Right?
Correct, and that is what bewilderment is all about, right?
That is all bewilderment also. Yeah, that is also we can say. That is also one way we can say.
And Prabhuji, Karan also was on the wrong side, but he was also loyal, was just supporting Duryodhana. Even he know that he was wrong. That also he was extremely loyal to Duryodhana, even he was against the dharma.
Correct. Same situations. So when we go through Bhagavad Gita, there is a very nice Sanskrit called as Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Okay, very important word used in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam also. The word Prabhupada will use Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, which means whatever Bhagavan says is Dharma. Okay, so it might be wrong from a normal materialist perspective, not from a Smriti perspective, something, but when Krishna says, that's all. There's no second thought, second question about it. Okay. So dharma means dharmam to sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So whatever Bhagavan gives, Bhagavat, that is where. So sometimes we get into a different way of seeing it as, oh no, how is this possible? No, this is, so that is where our bewilderment portion will come, and then we take some kind of wrong understanding and wrong decisions. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe another 5-10 minutes. We'll try to finish till 15 slokas and then stop for today. Okay? Because every session, if you are able to cover 15 slokas to 20 slokas, we should be able to, we are on the right track. Okay, yes, next sloka.
12th number.
12.
Tasya sananjayan harsham kuru vriddrahamaha simhanadam vinadyayochah sankham dadamahu pratapavan. Great valiant grand desire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion from him he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loud, fitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the council, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side, but still it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So again, two meanings brought out very nicely. Tasya sanjaniyam harsham kuru vriddha pitamaha simhanadam vinadesha. So just to make outwardly, just to make his grandson, to make Duryodhana happy, Bhishma takes his sankam dadmo pratapavan. So he takes his conch shell, he starts blowing it. So that blowing the conch shell itself is simhanadam. Simhanadam means, the garjana, the sim when a lion roars, how much it's it. So that's a very positive way of saying. So he wants to give that confidence to Duryodhana. He wants to go, don't worry, don't worry, my son, don't worry, grandson, I'm there. We will because the previous sloka, Duryodhana is like, oh, you all have to protect Bhishma. You all, let's see what, please. So just to make sure that, Duryodhana is kind of little pacified and happy and everything, Bhishma blows, he blows the conch. But inner meaning Prabhupada is bringing. That's why I was trying to make you understand. Every sloka, see minimum two meanings, okay? There might be multiple meanings, but minimum two meanings. So what is the second meaning? Array, don't worry. I will blow this conch, but however, definitely you are going to lose. Okay? Because there is no chance for it because the Lord is there on the other side, but still he will fight for it. Okay? So that is where he wanted to bring that message directly to Duryodhana and indirectly to understand that this will never going to happen. Okay, clear. That's good. Anybody? Quickly. Sloka 13.
ततः शङ्काश्च भैर्यश्च प्रणवानकगोमुखाः सहसैवाभ्यहयानन्त हन्यन्त शशब्दस्तु मूलोऽभवत्.
That's the translation.
After that, the conch shells, bugles, trumpets, drums, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous.
Okay. So Shabdos tumulo bhavet. Tumulo means tumulus. Okay. Same Sanskrit and English are more or less here. You see. Sa Shabdaha tumulo bhavet. So this is again, as I told you, it is not in one particular football ground or a stadium. This is across running miles, right? So they have to make some sound to ensure that it is getting started. So that is why all these big musical instruments, okay? Panavakaha, Gomukaha, all these big drums and then all that instruments are being started playing so that everybody know it is getting started. Okay. Yeah.
ततः श्वेतहयैर्मुक्ते महती सन्दने स्थितो माधवा पाण्डवा चैव दिव्यो शङ्खो प्रदम्युनु. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by the white horses, sounded their transcendental conches.
Yeah. You can read the purport also. Very nice purport.
In contrast with the conch shell blown by Bhishma Deva, the conches in the hands of the Krishna and the Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conches indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jaya Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yashampeksha Janardana. Victory is always with the persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there. Because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna, as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shell of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and this indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides whenever it was drawn over the three words.
Thank you, Mataji. So this sloka is very nicely were mentioned. On the other side, so this sloka is Tata Shvetar Hayar Yuktehe Mahati Shandaha Madhava Pandavas Chaiva. The very first word in Bhagavad Gita glorifying Krishna is Madhava. Okay, Madhava means so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's name and Arjuna's name, there are so many names. Each name has got its own meaning and wonderful understanding also. So Madhava means husband of goddess of fortune. So Lakshmi, right? So that is why it is used as Madhavaha. Pandavas Chaiva Divya Sanko Pradamata. So Divya Sanko, the word Divya. So who's telling all these things? Who's telling all these things?
Sanjay.
Sanjaya, correct. So Sanjaya is telling. So very diplomatically, if you see, Sanjaya, he is making all these statements in a way where subtly he is telling to Dhritarashtra. See, that side Bhishma wrote, it was like this one, but here he's making little different way. See, when the Pandavas said, when they started blowing the conch shell, it is all Divya Sankopan. It is all very transcendental, it is very spiritual, and that is kind of showing more victorious positive signs compared to the other sides, right? So that is where we can see how brilliantly Sanjaya is putting the words also at the same time conveying the message. Right. So this is where, yeah.
Panchajanya Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundam Dabno Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrukodara. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima the Vorakious eater and performer of Herculean task blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner. The living entities are part and parcel of him, and therefore living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonal nihilist cannot account for the senses of the living entities, and therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender to the living entity. And in the case of pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as a son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandana because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashoda Nandana because he was awarded his childhood pastime to Yashoda at Vrindavana. His name is Parthasarathi because he worked as a charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditure for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vrukodara because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks such as killing the demon Hidimba. So, the particular type of conch shell blown by the different personalities on the side of Pandavas, beginning with the lords, were all encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credit, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the supreme director, nor that of the goddess of fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sound of the conch shells.
Okay, so very clearly, distinctly bringing out the difference between blowing the conch shell, the sound of the conch shell also. Right. So when the other side blowing the conch shell, nothing big major happened. Then we just few of them. But here, very nicely, again this is told by Sanjaya. Okay, Panchajanyam Rishikesha Devadattam Dhananjaya. So Rishikesha, the word, I think most of you will understand a very, very nice way. Okay, so there are multiple meanings to it, but one simple meaning is one who is controlling the senses, one who is able to control all the senses of the individual person. Okay, so it is not about Rishikesha means his own senses. It is senses of others. He owns our senses. For example, our senses, if it is not in a controlled way, if it is not in a Krishna conscious way, our senses are going here and there, which means we are completely in the controlled by Maya, completely in the bewilderment of Maya. But when we are taking our activities, when you are trying to start thinking, we are start activating for the Lord, then Lord takes over our senses. He ensures whatever happening is towards fulfillment of that spiritual path and nothing else. Okay, so that is why our senses of seeing, eating, whatever touch, whatever be the senses, when it is aligned towards the Lord, then Lord takes over the senses and ensures that it doesn't have any kind of a disturbance, any kind of this. So there is always a battle of senses between these two. One is towards Maya controlling our senses, other one is the Lord trying to control our senses, which means as a Jivatma, it is up to our decision to go towards the Lord or towards Maya. So 90% because we don't use our intelligence, we are focused on our mind, which is more towards senses getting controlled, taken over, then it is always towards the other side. But the moment our senses are given or taken control by the Lord's will, then it is much more easier. Okay, so that requires intelligence. This is more towards mind-driven way. This is more towards intelligence-driven way. Okay, so in the coming chapters, specifically in the second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, we will see how do I differentiate between my intelligent way of actions, my intelligent way of decision making, my intelligent way of thinking, whereas compared to my mind way of senses. Right. So in a very short, simple way, the word Rishikesha is being brought out, and Dhananjaya also, the story where when the war was, even before the war was about to begin, when Yudhishthira was about to do this Ashwamedha Yajna, to perform that Ashwamedha Yajna, he had to get a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of things. So he sent everybody, he sent all his brothers in different directions. He sent Arjuna to one direction, he sent Bhima to other direction. So Arjuna was able to bring a lot of wealth and money by winning over small kingdoms. So that is why he is called as Dhananjaya. Krishna's name also is Prabhupada bringing out very nicely. He's called as Madhusudana, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Rishikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara, Sankarsana. So like that, there are so many names of Krishna, but each of the name has got its own meaning and understanding. Okay. So why it is called as Devaki Nandana, Yashodanandana, all those things also. Maybe we'll see one more sloka and then we can stop today. Yeah, this sloka we will see, this entire slide. We can read directly the translation, Prabhu. Anybody?
King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijay, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sughosh and Mani Pushpa. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Sanjay informed Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle. Beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world, all were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons.
So who is the main culprit? It is not even Duryodhana. Okay, so Prabhupada making it very clear. As a king, Dhritarashtra has to make certain decisions at the right time. So he failed to take certain decisions. He failed to approve his, put his authority. He failed to see what is right and wrong. So many things happened just because of Dhritarashtra's this one. So that is why Prabhupada making it very nicely. The whole catastrophe is because of Dhritarashtra. Because he engaged the policy, follow this. If at all at that particular moment, if he had scolded his son, if he had told, no, this entire thing belongs to Yudhishthira, and maybe half the kingdom you can get. So whatever decision he has taken, if he had taken properly at the right time, then that would have taken a different way, right? So Prabhupada making it very nicely. Like, when he started, he was telling about all those things. But now Sanjaya is bringing out very prominently, seeing that, see, Ananta Vijaya, Yudhishthira blew, Nakula blew, Sakadeva, and then Kasirajan, Sikandi, Drishtadumna. Shikandi is there specifically for one last arrow for Bhishmadev. Again, Drishtadumna is there, Virata is there, Satyaki, Drupata, and sons of so many things are there, and then making it very nicely, pointing out they are all blowing their concept, which means they are more confident than the Kauravas. Okay, so that is why we can understand.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just wanted to ask you one simple question that there are so many great peoples like Sanjaya and Vidura, they all know that Krishna, wherever the Krishna is there, Krishna is the which party Krishna is standing, that party will only win. But as it is that like for Ram in Ramayana, Lord appeared for the destroy the Ravan and his Lanka, and in this Dwapar Yuga, Krishna appeared to kill the Kansa. So what is the purpose of happening of this Mahabharata? Because is it Krishna's purpose is that so people of all over the world, they should know that Dharma is always the winner? Okay. Or any other?
Understood, Mataji. Understood the question. So, so in 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna brings out two important slokas. Okay. So one point now, like what you rightly mentioned, killing of Kamsa is the least thing for Krishna. Okay. So unlike Ravana, unlike Ramayana, if you compare it between Rama killing Ravana, Krishna killing Kamsa is no way compared. Okay. So please remove that myth. Because that happened just like that. He didn't have anything. Within half an hour, the entire thing was over. He went for a big wrestling match. He just gave one big blow, and then Kamsa was gone. Okay, that's all. So there is no comparison between these two. First point.
So the purpose is to be to Krishna wanted to make this Mahabharata should happen, or
correct. So I'm coming to that point. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Paritrana sadhuna vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yugego. Every yuga I come for what purpose? Is to sambhavami, I'm coming to establish dharma. So when I want to come to establish dharma, what I have to do? I have to protect the sadhus and annihilate or kill the demons. So he made this arrangement where all the persons through the lined up in towards the Kuru towards the Kuru Vamsa is all kind of bad character people. Okay, so that is why he wanted to ensure this battle happens, and whomsoever is it to be taught punishment, they were all punished. Okay, they were all killed at that particular point. Okay, that is the understanding. The other implied understanding what we can see is when you read through Krishna book, you will see that when Jarasandha comes and starts attacking Mathura, Krishna will what he will do? What he will do very first time? He will leave him. Okay, he will kill everybody except Jarasandha and leave him. So like that, what will happen? Continuously for 16 times, Jarasandha will be kind of defeated. Jarasandha will go, then he will again gather a big army for 1 year or 2 years. Then again he will come with all his small kings, small whomsoever. Then Krishna will defeat everybody. And then again, so this happened not once or twice, 16 times. So you remember, you can just imagine that how Krishna planned it so nicely. Because if we kill Jarasandha first time, that's all. What will happen? He will not be able to solve the purpose of making one big annihilation or one big killing. So he wanted to make this very nicely. So every time he will insult Jarasandha, let Jarasandha get defeated. He will go. He will get all the bad people together, come fight, lose, get killed, again go come. So at the 17th war only, he will decide. Okay, now time has come. Let us completely get this particular activity done, and then he will close it. Okay, so that is where we will see that point. Okay, clear?
So the those the demonic peoples like Trinavarta and all these, they got when they came to kill the Krishna, baby Krishna, so they still get liberated because they got the death from the Krishna's hand. So
Yes.
Similarly for Duryodhana or this Dhritarashtra, is it happened the same thing with them, that they got the liberation?
Okay, what our Acharya says, Krishna killing directly through his hands, or Krishna killing, or Krishna making a fight through the army, there are different stages and different levels also. Somebody directly having a fight one-on-one with Krishna, definitely that particular person might have a better birth in the next life also. It is not that they will be immediately liberated. No. Shastras doesn't mention that, oh, I fight with Krishna, then I'll get liberated. Then everybody will take up that path, right? So that is not the case. Similarly, even for this, of course, they will have a better, because they have, compared to all others, whomsoever fought directly with Krishna will have a little better opportunity in the next life or getting liberated compared to others. So in the fight of in this Mahabharata war also, everybody were killed, but it doesn't mean that everybody got liberated. No, our acharyas don't mention that word. They might take up another birth. They might go to any other loka. So based on their karma, based on their whatever be it, they would have definitely got another birth or liberated also, whatever be it. But there is no direct mention that everybody are liberated. No.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu, for this wonderful explanation.
Let's finish off this. So this is the last portion of this particular section. Okay, 19th sloka also, same thing, very small thing. So 19th sloka is Sagosho Dardarashtan Hridayani Yadarat Navasta Pravitim Chaiva Tumulo Abhyanta. So this is again the blowing of these conch shells, Dardarashtanam. So when these conch shells were blown, what happened? These the Dhritarashtra's sons got little fear. So that is what is mentioning. So Prabhupada is mentioning when Bhishma and others on the side of Duryodhana blew their conscience, there was no heartbreaking on the Pandava side. But however, when Pandava's side started blowing their conscience, the Dhritarashtra side were got little kind of jittery, kind of little thoda dar laga. They got little fear. Okay, so this is due to presence of Lord Krishna. So that is where we need to see the understanding. We'll stop till 19th sloka. So from 20 itself, from even 20 or 21 itself, there is a little tangent or little going away from this particular section and getting into the next section. From here, 21 onwards. Tomorrow we will see from 21 onwards, 2021, how this entire portion is getting changed. So first chapter, is divided into setting the context or setting the scene where Dhritarashtra is talking, Sanjaya is answering Duryodhana's points, and that is where it ends, one particular section. The other section where the lamentation portion of Arjuna starts. So from here, from 21st sloka to 44th sloka, this entire remaining slokas of this chapter is all about Arjuna's Vishada Yoga. So whenever we say Bhagavad Gita's first chapter, sometimes it is called as Arjuna Vishada Yogam, and Prabhupada wants to make it more of setting the scene or introduction. So which means both actually army level or setting the war part and also setting the scene for Bhagavad Gita itself, right? So Bhagavad Gita comes only when there is a Vishada, when there is a lamentation, right? So that is also required. So whenever there is a pravachan, or whenever there is a requirement of a message to be given, the bottom line should be made clear that that particular person's heart is kind of very conducive enough to hear the message. So Arjuna's heart has to become conducive. Even for us also, whenever we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, our heart has to be conducive, which means we have to be prepared to take up the message of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that is where this particular portion is called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the message of lamentation portion of Arjuna. The other portion is about setting the scene. Okay, so we have to see two different, two sides of the same chapter in two perspectives. Okay, so we'll stop here. If you have any questions, we can take it up now, or we will continue tomorrow, Krishna willing. Tomorrow, 11:30 or 11 o'clock morning, we will have same online itself. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so tomorrow there will be a small test also. Let's see how you can, if you have taken notes, whatever you have seen in the first 15 slokas, we will just try to see a rinse and repeat how we will be understood. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai.
Jai.
Dandavat Pranam.